I don't have any proper identity papers. I don't know how old I am, and I always think of myself as a young girl. When I was little, Father and Mother used to go on tour giving performances to all the fairs. And very good ones, too. I used to do the dive of death and lots of other tricks. When Father and Mother died, a German lady adopted me and began educating me. Well, I grew up and became a governess. But who I am and where I come from, I have no idea. Who my parents were, I don't know either, and very likely they weren't even married. I don't know anything. I'm lonely. Oh, so lonely. I'm longing for someone. But there isn't anyone. I'm all alone in the world.
I'm tired of the world and my soul. I'm tired of my friends and my foes. How nice it is to play a mandolin.
That isn't a mandolin, it's a guitar.
To a man crazed with love, it is a mandolin. If only my heart were like it, like a warmth of an ardent white day.
The awful way these people sing! Like a pack of hyenas!
You're ever so lucky to have been abroad, though.
Yes, of course. My sentiments exactly.
It stands to reason. Everything's pretty comprehensive like abroad.
Oh, definitely.
Well, I'm a very cultured sort of person. I read all kinds of remarkable books, but I just can't seem to get a handle on what it is I'm really after. I mean, shall I go on living or shall I shoot myself? But in any case, I always carry a revolver. Here it is.
Well, that's that, I'm off. Yet, Conan, you're a very clever man. And the most alarming one. Women must be crazy about you. These clever men are all so stupid, and I've no one to talk to. I'm lonely. So lonely. And who I am, and what I'm for, is a mystery.
Other considerations aside, there is something I really must explain about myself at this juncture, which is that fate treats me most unkindly. Like a storm buffeting a small boat. Where is it to take a case in point that this morning I woke up and there on my chest was a spider of gigantic proportions, this size. Or I pick up a glass of kvass to have a drink, and lo and behold, there's something highly proper inside of it, like a black beetle. Have you ever read Buckle's History of Civilization? Might I trouble you for the favor of a few words, Miss Dunyasha?
All right, go ahead.
I'd prefer it to be in private.
Very well, then. Only, first, go and give me my cape. You'll find it in the cupboard or somewhere. It's really damp out here.
Oh, yes. I'm sure. At your service. Now I know what to do with my revolver.
Major disaster. That man's a fool between you and me.
Heavens, I hope he doesn't go and shoot himself. I've grown so nervous and I feel worried all the time. The master and mistress took me in when I was a little girl, and now I've lost touch with the way ordinary people live. Look at my hand. It's white as could be, just like a lady's. Yes, I've become all soft and refined and ladylike and easily frightened. I'm scared of everything. If you deceive me, Yasha, I can't think what it will do to my nerves.
Taste a little morsel. A girl should know her place, mind you. There's nothing I dislike so much as loose morals in a girl.
I'm so much in love with you, Yasha. You're so educated. You can talk about anything.
That's true enough. If a girl admits she's in love, that proves she's immoral. How nice it is to smoke a cigar outside. There's somebody coming. It's the missus in the other. No. Go back to the house and go down to the river for a swim. Here, take that hat. We'll also run into them. They'll think we've been walking together, and I can't have that.
Your cigar is giving me an awful headache.
You must make up your minds once and for all. Besides, it's a perfectly simple matter. Are you prepared to lease your land for summer cottages or art? You can answer this in one single word. Yes or no?
Who's been smoking disgusting cigars around here?
Well, how nice it is that they built a railway. We've been into town for lunch. Sinks in the corner pocket. I must go indoors now and have a game.
But there's no hurry.
Please, give me an answer.
Yesterday I had lots of money, but I hardly have any left today. My poor Varya, she tries to save by feeding us all on milk soup. And the poor servants in the kitchen get nothing but peas to eat. While I simply go out squandering money. I can't think why. Oh, there, now I've dropped it all.
Allow me.
Please do, Yasha. What made me go out to lunch with you today? A terrible restaurant of yours with its loud music and tablecloths smelling of soap. Does one really have to eat so much liquid, or drink so much, or talk so much? Really, Daniel, you talked way too much in the restaurant today. Almost unsuitable stuff about the 70s and the decadence movement. And just think who you were talking to. Imagine talking about the decadence to the waiters.
Quite so. I'm a hopeless case, obviously. Why is it I always see you hanging around everywhere?
I just can't help but laugh when I hear your voice.
Either he goes, or I
You may leave Yasha off of here.
I'll go at once. This instant.
Do you know who's thinking of buying your land? A rich man named Darren. They say he's coming to the auction himself.
Oh, and where did you hear that?
So they're saying in town.
Well, our Aunt Yaroslav's promised to send money, but when she'll send it and how much it'll be, nobody knows.
Well, how much is she sending? 100,000, 200,000 rubles?
Oh, about 10 or 15,000, and we're lucky to get that much.
With all due respect, I have never met anyone as scatterbrained as you two, or as unbusinesslike either. I tell you in plain language that the estate is up for sale, and you can't seem to take it in.
Well, what are we to do about it? You tell us that.
I do tell you. Every day I say the same thing over and over again. The cherry orchard and the rest of the land must be leased out for summer cottages. Once you get that into your heads, you can raise any amount of money you want, and you'll be all right.
Cottages, summer visitors? Forgive me, but that all seems so frightfully vulgar.
I agree completely.
I'm going to scream or faint. I've had all of this I can stand. You are an old woman.
What's that? What's that?
I said, you are an old woman.
Oh, don't go away. Stay with us. I implore you. Please. Perhaps we'll think of something.
Think! This isn't a question of thinking.
I suppose I've committed so many sins.
Oh, what sins have you committed?
People say I've wasted my shape on these gambies.
My sins. Look at the man where after he's wasted money, spent it like water. And then I had to marry a man who knew nothing but run up debts. My husband, he died of champagne, drank like a fish. Then I had the bad luck to fall in love with someone else and have an affair with him. Just then came my first punishment. And what a cruel one that was. In the river here, my little boy was drowned. And I went away, went right away, never meaning to return and see the river again. I shut my eyes and went away, not knowing what I was doing. And he followed me. It was a cruel, brutal thing to do. I bought a villa in Linton because he fell ill there. And for 3 years I had no rest, nursing him day and night. He utterly wore me out. I felt as if all my feelings were dried up inside of me. Then last year, when I had to sell the bill to pay my debts, I left for Paris. And he deserted me, robbed me, and took up with another woman. I tried to poison myself. It was also stupid and humiliating. Then suddenly, I longed to be back in Russia, back in my own country, with my little girl. Oh, Lord, Lord, be merciful, forgive me, don't punish me anymore. Isn't that the music I hear?
Oh, that's our famous Jewish band. You remember the four fiddles, flute, and double bass?
Are they still around? We must get them up here sometime and have a party.
I don't hear anything. You're Frenchified Russian. I saw a very good show in the theater last night, though, something very funny.
I don't suppose it's a bit funny. You people shouldn't watch plays. You should watch your own performance instead. What dramatize you need and what little nonsense you talk.
Well, quite so. To be perfectly honest, I really is the process one. I mean, I thought I was an idiot. He taught me nothing. Just beat me with the sticks, means drunk. You know, just to be idiot and a numbskull myself. I mean, my handwriting's atrocious. A pig could write as well as I, but I'm afraid to let anyone see it.
You want to get married, my friend.
Yes, that's true enough.
Why don't you marry Varya? She's a very nice girl.
True.
She's a nice little creature. She works all day long. And the great thing is, she loves you. And I know you've been quite fond of her for some time, too.
Well, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, she is a nice girl.
I've been offered a job at a bank, and 6,000 rubles a year. Have you heard?
What? You at a bank? Oh, you stay right with you.
Mr. Lane, put this on. It's damp out here.
You are a wet blanket, my dear fellow.
We can't have this goes off in the morning without so much as a word.
Oh, dear Fears, how you have aged.
Beg pardon, madam.
Your mistress says you look a lot older.
Well, I've been alive a long time. You know, they were planning my wedding. Before she was so much as thought of. And when the serfs were given their freedom, I was already head valet. But I wouldn't have any of that freedom. I stayed on with the master and the mistress. As I recall, everyone was pleased, but what they were so pleased about, they had no idea themselves.
Oh, yes, those were the good days. At least there were plenty of floggings.
Those were the days. The masters had their serfs, and the serfs had their masters. But now everything's so mixed up, you can't make anything.
Keep quiet a minute, Fierce. I have to go to town tomorrow. I've been promised an introduction to a general who might let us have a look.
It won't happen, and you can't pay the interest, you can be sure of that.
He's only talking nonsense. There's no such thing.
Ah, here comes the